Senator Graham tells us it's all about the money.
The weapons that they're using here are made in America, creating American jobs. And every weapon we give the Ukrainians are used to full effect. We've learned a lot about our own weapon system by providing them to the Ukrainians, what works and what doesn't. So I'm hoping that in December we can have another infusion of weapons provided by the United States to help the Ukrainians fight in 2025.
There you have it. It is about the money. It's about feeding the military-industrial corporation, enriching stockholders. It's also in part about the desire of the United States to take as many of the resources from Russia as we could possibly get. But that's really how sick and perverted this is. This isn't about a fight for freedom. This isn't about a fight for democracy. That's the lie that's sold to the American people in order to get them convinced that, hey, let's just pile on some more money onto this funeral pyre and burn it up. Now, the other thing Graham said about, hey, the great thing about this war is we've learned about how good U.S. weapons are. Well, what we've learned is they don't work. They're not game changers. Or we can't produce them at any kind of rate that would sustain a real war if we were actually involved with the direct fighting on a day-to-day basis. Now, I've talked before about the Patriot missiles, the actual missiles that you put into the launcher. Lockheed Martin makes 550 of those a year. Ukraine has been using them up at the rate of probably 200 to 300 a month. Just do the math. There was only a finite number of those missiles. The same with HIMARS. HIMARS have proved effective at killing civilians in the Donbass, but they haven't proved very effective at destroying, disrupting, or curtailing the capabilities of the Russian military. Anti-tank guided missiles, the shoulder-fired ones, javelins, they've turned out to be a bust. M1 Abrams, heavy beast, great if you get to operate it on concrete, but doesn't do so well out in the muddy fields of Ukraine. What we've discovered out of this is that the United States has a defense industry that is set up, organized in order to make money, but actually not produce any kind of weapon systems that are combat proven, that are effective in the field, and that are cost effective, most importantly. We've gone for, I commented before about the B-2 bomber costs $2 billion. So just do the math. When the entire U.S. defense budget is about $850 billion. So just 50 of those planes would account for 12% of the total U.S. defense budget. I mean, it's incredible. It's a living definition of boondoggle. As we've seen from our comments from Senator Graham, this war in Ukraine was all about weakening Russia and making money for the shareholders of U.S. corporations. It turns out that this war effort is sort of backfiring on the United States. And the situation in Ukraine is right now, it's accelerating in its deterioration. Because while the battle is underway up in Kursk, and it's a lopsided battle that the Russians are winning, and I'm not saying that because I'm a paid agent of Vladimir Putin. I'm not. I can actually, though, read a map. And the Ukrainians do not have the logistics lines of communications to sustain troops to where they could both fortify themselves, dig in, and then resist both the air and ground operations of the Russians. And one of the reasons they can't is because the Ukrainians, despite having F-16 stored somewhere across the border in Romania, they don't have any effective air power themselves. They're on their own on the ground.